Let's see. Yo. Alright, this shit all good. Volume. So we back with another studio flow. Marking Mondays in the hour. So you ain't gonna do that? Alright. I got your ass. I forgot what let me I forgot what key I was in on this one. I started the other day. Let me see. Oh yeah, you just look at the MIDI. Hey, man, they movie like what 90s? This shit funny, but that boy Chris Tucker, man, this shit still funny as hell. Like every time I watch it, no bullshit. When I was like 10, 11 or something, I used to watch this shit so much. You know, I'm talking about like each time, but I can't help but laugh every time I watch this shit. I'm on E. Oh, this is an E chord, E key. Yo, what the fuck? This third chord is yeah. Is that the same one? Nah, it didn't. fuck is Oh, there we go. Alright. I don't need no weird. I got a bad feeling. But this guy is funny. I'm gonna say they dump him over the land. fuck did I just? Oh, that's how it was. Alright, but this oscillator 8 amp, and I just EQ the bass out. out the park. He beat him. He said, "No, what did he shoot him?" He said, "In the ass." Everybody know he got shot in the ass. What's it, red light, green light? Little bitty teeny weeny problems or big fat ass problems. He sell some Liberace type shit. To report Cube. What you gonna let me keep? Man, this guy's fucking crazy, man. said, imagine that. It was like a G dog. Man, what the fuck? I never seen that. I never noticed that part until now. The homeless dude was on the by the dumpster, picked up his gun and shot at their ass too, man. What the fuck? She said, "No, you didn't want gone and done it." No.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
What you know what number year it is?
48.
48.
That's incredible.
Fighting. That's love right there.
For real.
Yeah, man.
So it's a lot. It's a lot to go over,
Market
a lot to
Mondays.
talk about. I will say this: big week for Earn Your Leisure, Blackout. We back. Might ruffle some feathers, might not. You never know what's gonna
For
happen.
sure.
Perhaps.
Get your
Perhaps.
popcorn
Nine
ready.
9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. Thursday we got a true legend in the game, one of the greatest that ever done it, Jermaine Dupri. Man, that's a legendary conversation, man.
They have him as the greatest producer of the century. Number one.
He
Songwriter,
one of the ones. Yeah.
D1.
songwriter, producer, rapper,
Visionary.
Artist. Yeah.
executive, CEO.
Hmm.
He does it all.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
does it all. So man, that's one of the ones, man. Like he
Ooh.
and he definitely he popped it too. Like he popped his ish. Like he popped his
Hmm.
ish. Like, like yo, don't forget what I
I was the
did.
youngest nigga. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
nobody's done what I've done.
That's
Some people
true.
have done things, but nobody's done what I've done.
yeah. He talked about the crisscross. He had a lot of legendary stories. So
Yeah.
He ushered and engineered in the young rappers.
yeah, he said he started
Oh,
the
of
YNs. He said
course.
the YNs. That's his. That's
Solely responsible.
Hmm.
yeah.
We took it back to when, before there was marketing, the idea of two kids having their own video game. Remember that? Like when Sega Genesis had the
Hmm.
crisscross game, like they changed the way they were wearing clothes. Like it was just genius marketing.
But even I was like, yo, you ill because when people get publishing, right? It's like for the actual writer of like 50% or a portion of it goes to the writer, a portion of it goes to the producer. A lot of these records, big records too, so like Usher and stuff like that, he was the producer and the writer. But then he was
Hmm.
like, and then I'm like, all right, you're the producer, you're the writer, but then you're the CEO of a label as well. He's like, I'll go one step further. He was like, Crisscross, I wrote every single song on the album. I produced every
Produce.
single song on the album. It was signed to my label, but I found them. He's like, I found them in the mall. He's like, I'm talent scout too. I found them in the mall. He's like, and I dressed them. I told them to put the clothes on backwards. That was
Yeah.
me. He's like, I'm solely responsible for finding them,
Yeah.
branding them, dressing
Hmm.
them, writing for them, and producing every single song.
The entire album. The entire album.
Then first female rapper to go platinum.
That's a
Yes.
fact.
Tough.
Bow Wow, Bow
Talked
Wow,
about that.
Bow Wow.
Talked about that.
Man,
That
JD was on point.
1472 album was tough too, low key.
Talked about that as well. That
Hmm.
Yeah. So I was like,
Hmm.
obviously you've been doing. People, if you study hip hop, you know he was a dancer like in Houdini's video, and you want to go that far back. So people have watched him in his entire career, but I was like, what's the moment that you knew he was out of here? And it wasn't any of those early moments. It was like when New York started playing his records and respected him as an artist,
Hmm.
money in a thing. He's like, all right, they're playing me up
Tough.
here. I'm out.
And he talks about the Confessions, the legendary Confessions, how he wrote the song, like with the inspiration that he got from writing Confessions. It's a
Hmm.
class. It's a classic interview, man. Check that
Yeah.
out. 12 o'clock on Eastern Standard Time on his YouTube channel, and so much stuff. So I just want to get the show started. But shout out to Miles Jones. Appreciate the hospitality. He had a dope comedy show yesterday. Uh, Man, that was
That's right.
very, very, very funny. Shout out to my brother Sean. He invited us to his show. He had a show in
Uh,
New York on Saturday.
True,
That
true.
was crazy. And shout out to our African family. We was just in Ghana and we were in Kenya. And
mm,
stay tuned. It's called Stay Tuned Loaded. So shout out to the whole African family. Of course, Kwame, Alvin, Eugene,
So,
Dora.
mhm.
yeah. We're back. We're back safe. So appreciate the travel mercies. Before we get in any trouble here, let me do the disclaimer. So you know how this works, man. Do your own research on content is intended to be used and must be used for information purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice call professional connection with or independently research and verify any information that you found on our show and wish to rely upon whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise is build our knowledge, our community, and our brokerage accounts. Y'all know how we do. Love is love. Let's get this thing going.
Ian, any announcements?
Yes, Red Panda Stock Club call will be Sunday, March 24th at 4 p.m. Central. If I make your money, please put us in chat. We have another Red Panda millionaire that was minted. I'm proud of you.
Congratulations.
Keep your name private. We'll show the little screenshot later. They say I dropped the classic with my brother Bilal Little on ETL. The connection with the Bilal is legendary. Shout out to Bilal Little. Congrats on your event today. Amazing. And for everyone in Stock Club, if you have questions for the next call, you can put them in Telegram. Let's have an amazing show. And if I made you money, please put yes in chat. And we're going to talk about one at the end of the show. There was a quiet killer that's 1,000%. Back to you, Troy, for the shot.
So let's get into the trading tip of the week, shall we?
Yes, for my futures traders, I need you to know this. Never trade when you're in a bad mood, you're sleepy, or you've had an argument with your significant other. One of my homeboys texted me, he like, bro, Friday I got into it with my girl, and I'm like, you lose 20, 35,000. Ooh, baby, that's cause for a breakup. It's cause for a breakup. So, for my futures traders, never trade or invest when you are in a bad state of mind. Let that energy clear because it will throw off your biometrics. Tie shot to you. But for those of you who are trading with ties, you never want to trade when you are in a bad mood, bad state, and you've had an argument with your significant other.
How do you avoid that? Like,
Yeah, I
Leave
don't know.
First violation, first time you mess with the money, you get the fuck out, and then that's that. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. A lot of times, Charlie, this is me and you talking. A lot of times, we keep it on it's a single angle. Zoom in on me, especially if you're listening. The first time they get to messing up the bag,
Oh, man.
mitigation of risk. Gotta let it go. Because usually a issue of character, right? Let's take Sam Bankman-Fried.
Them niggas ain't disciplined
It
enough,
wasn't
gang.
one violation, and Madoff wasn't one violation. It was one that perpetually rolled down into a snowball that became an avalanche. So if your relationship is causing you to lose money, you need to let it go. Rashad, what do you think?
yeah, no, I agree. If it's taking time out of your schedule for toxic, you know, if it's definitely a hindrance
Oh, man.
to your development, to financially, emotionally, anything. But definitely, we're talking about finances, Market Monday, so it's a financial conversation. So yeah, if it's affecting your trading, if it's affecting your entrepreneurship, then it's not worth it.
Sometimes the biggest risk on your trading journey is going to be around people who only uplift you and allow you to thrive in their environment. Also, too, for fellas, you got to make sure that you're not giving them a reason to argue and that you're engaged in self-sabotage. So the other part of it, Troy, I'll come to you. For my gentlemen, for my mature men, don't put things on the table that can lead to friction in your life, because that's another thing that can stop you from getting it back as well. Troy, what are your thoughts?
I appreciate that, Ian. Thank you. I was watching a clip. It's interesting. We talking about argument and disagreeing, and I was watching Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and I think Jimmy Jam something very important. And he was talking about his relationship, their relationship in the music business, but it kind of felt like it could have been, the same message for marriages and relationships. And he was like, we don't have arguments, we have disagreements. Arguments are something that you try to win. Disagreements are something that you're trying to solve. And so if you think of an argument, that means that somebody's trying to win. And if you're trying to win against somebody you love, that means somebody's losing. Kind of like when we go back to losing. And if somebody loses over and over, then they're not even coming to play. And so that leads to non-communication, which is not going to be great. And so tone is important, intentionality is important, perspective is important. And so if we just switch from trying to argue to saying, hey, here's where we don't agree, let's try to come to some type of resolution or try to solve this in a mutual way. I think that's way more beneficial and time saving than an argument, because nobody wins in that scenario. Even if
also, my last word, if you're constantly having turmoil in a relationship of any kind, it usually doesn't get better. You got to learn to cut the losses early in your trading and investing journey. Back to
That's
you,
a
Pops.
fact. That's a fact. Don't let anybody come away in the bag.
For sure. At that kind of a loss, what?
Can't afford it.
Don't let anybody come. Don't let
Let me
anybody.
get a knife for this
Yeah.
fruits.
You took an oath.
It's like took this boat.
You took an oath. If you in this game, it's not for everybody. But if you're in this game, you took an oath to get your bag right.
What was that?
And anybody that comes in between you and financial freedom,
On a personal level.
gotta go.
You gotta go.
On a personal level.
Secret society, all we ask is trust.
That's a fact.
There you
Come
go.
on.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But if we took the oath, that means that we both took the oath, right?
No, because sometimes your person that you're with is not on the same financial journey. They don't care about stocks. They don't care about investing.
That's
They're
fine.
actually the complete opposite.
That might be okay though.
They're financial. What's up there?
If they're not, because that leaves open opportunity to teach.
Man, it's assets over
What
liability.
they don't want to learn? They're on the liability list.
It's assets over liability at all
Then you
times.
gotta have a better teaching method. Everybody's willing to learn. It's about who's teaching.
Everybody's not going to learn.
If they have the right teacher.
Some people
That's not true either.
have the best teacher in the world.
I'll give you a prime example. How many of y'all you didn't listen the first time?
They all not ready to learn. Everybody not willing
That's
to
fine,
learn.
right? 'Cause
Receptive.
maybe our
Amenable.
message is not the one they need to hear. And that's okay too. That's okay.
This the message. This the message. Everybody can. Market Mondays.
God.
If you don't dating requirement. Do you watch Market Mondays?
Ooh, big facts. Not just watch.
Dating requirement.
Yeah. Be careful out here, man.
Also, I want to say too. I forgot to mention, but EY University tomorrow we got a dope class, HVAC. So we talked
Okay,
about
that's fire.
we've been talking about this for a long time. How trade are gonna be was really in demand, and HVAC honestly is
The new requirement is: do you watch Market Mondays? If you want
I
to
don't
join
want
the,
to easy because nothing in life is easy.
you want to join the
It's
harem.
like the quickest.
If she wants to join the harem, she must watch
'Cause it's
Market
taking a long
Mondays.
time for electrician, or even plumber. But HVAC, and you can make good money in HVAC. So this is a good story because shout out to my man Vincent. He's actually teaching the class. He's an entrepreneur that has an HVAC company. I used to be his financial advisor. So 15 years ago. So he had the HVAC company then, and blue collar. And he told me like, look, bro, I don't really have no advanced degree, nothing, but I haven't worked for nobody in 15 years. He's like, I got a company, and it's always a demand. It's always going to be a up season. So he's going to teach about HVAC, but I wanted to say that because I wanted to talk about that, but I also just wanted to say relationships. You never know. I was his financial advisor 15 years ago. I went to him and was like, look, you need to have life insurance. Look, rolled out the whole thing. And now, 15 years later, he still has an HVAC company. And I'm like, look, I need you to teach a class at your university about how to become an HVAC entrepreneur. And he's like, sure, I'll do it. And he's actually a college professor. He teaches how to become an HVAC specialist at a college. So you gotta have a skill. You gotta have a skill in today's world. I'll tell you that much.
A skill set.
Yeah.
So let's talk about investment fact of the week.
I thought this was really interesting. Sometimes, and I think we all can agree, the future projections will tell you the company that's going to do really well. So the 2026 projected revenue for Nvidia is 192 billion. Samsung is 155 billion. Troy, you don't like this one. SK Hynix, 111 billion. Microsoft 133 billion, and Saudi Aramco 110 billion because of AI. A lot of times people say we don't know what's coming next, but a lot of times all you have to do, we were talking about it before we started, like go into Claude. You were on this in Market Mondays in Chicago. Just go into Claude and tell you what the 2026, 2027 projections are going to be, and it makes it a lot easier. So even though there's like a small percentage of the internet is worried about if the Nvidia, Google, AI infrastructure trade is getting overcrowded, we haven't even hit the inflection point yet. And even earlier when we had the gentleman from BlackRock on, he kind of gave you the layout for the next 10 years. So see what the projections are over the next 4 or 5 years in the space so you can know how to invest accordingly.
Yeah, I think that's why it's important. I know people are like, oh, you're gonna listen to every earnings report, like you're gonna listen to every report.
Have to.
You don't have to. I mean, you don't have to. I'm gonna do it because I'm trying to see where these companies are headed. In fact, most times I'll just ask Claude, hey, here's the document. Just give me a summary of what the future guidance is, what the projections are, what the PE ratio is going to be looking to forward. I need to know those things because I want to make educated decisions when I'm going to invest. And so that's really important. I think what people are witnessing now, I think this is the biggest factor, is that companies are actually making money.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've been doing this quarter
like
after quarter, and it was, hey, this is moving off of optimism, and AI is an optimism story. I'm like, no, no. Companies don't jump 3,000% because of optimism. They're actually making money, right? Like we're actually witnessing that, and we're participating in that. A lot of us are participating. If you're not, I don't know what you've been doing, but companies are making money because they have systems, they have infrastructure, and they have a product that is going to be in demand. Some of it over demand at this point because they've sold out for the year. And so we got to realize that that is happening. This is real. You're going to be part of it. Somebody asked me today, well, what should we do? And I heard Ian in my head like, we already told you what to do. So now my answer is, what should we do? Watch us win. Either you're going to win with us or you're going to watch us win. Because we've been doing it for 7 years. We've been telling you where the move is. I sent Shadi a document earlier today about a class we did in November talking about companies, GEV, Corning, Sandus, Fabrinet, all of them in 6 months have just been out of here. And so the obvious thing is like, well, what's the next thing? Well, what have we done in the past 6 months? Right? This isn't optimism anymore. This is actual revenue being brought in, and we saw it. Company after company, we watched. Did they beat earnings? Yep. Did the mega cap beat earnings? Yep. Have some go Meta pulled back, but Meta's still going to be a strong company. We've seen what Google's done. We watched what Amazon's done. TSM, I said the article we read today, that could be a game changer. So demand is still strong. It is not going anywhere.
Anthropic is doing $30 billion a year pre-IPO. What are you worried about?
Insane.
Crazy.
Like, these numbers are the equivalent of a player scoring 65 and 25 a night. Like we haven't seen numbers like this out of our IPO. This isn't 2008, and it's definitely not 99, where there was a lot of valuation on the table, but the sales were light. The revenue is strong, the leadership is strong, and the crazy part is these enterprise companies are more needed than ever. The question is, which 2 or 4 are you going to invest in for the long term and hold them forever?
Yeah. Okay. Let's go over the biggest investing mistake that people make.
I posted it earlier, but I think the biggest investing mistake people are making is trading the stocks you should be holding for long term. Like I've had people reach out to me and say, same thing. What's the next SanDisk? NVIDIA, AMD, one we'll talk about later. The ones that are leading now will lead, but the issue is you traded them. Like someone told me, hey, I had a $100,000 trade in NVIDIA in 23. I doubled my money. But look how much money you missed on the back end of the last few years. Lilly, same thing. SanDisk this year. And I know I may be a little bit biased towards futures, but if you look at the history of the biggest companies, we're now looking at some companies go up 2,000 and 3,000% on the trade, and I'm sure we're going to talk about Micron in a little bit. But some of these companies are going to go up 4,000 or 5,000% over a 5 or 6 year period, and you're going to be stuck on the sidelines with a 200% win, tax, and you blew the money on a car or a vacation. Or somebody who doesn't love you, do something stupid.
Yeah.
Stop trading the stocks that you should be holding for a long period of time. And once again, the ones that are going to do incredibly well in the future are doing incredibly well now. Hold for the long term. And you're blowing the money on live. It makes no sense to trade an asset to then spend it on a liability. Crazy as hell.
Yeah, you hear those stories right? And we've posted it a few times. If you would have had $10,000 in 2020 and invested in such and such company, it would be this amount today. And you're like, oh, well, I wasn't doing it in 2020. And then if they scale out to a longer term vision, they say, well, if I invested in 2010, I'd have 1.4 million. And it sounds like that's so out of reach. But we're living in a time where we just watched a company IPO in February of 2025, and is now up 3,400%.
Yeah.
Like
3,400, but that's 34x.
Where did this thing come from? Never heard of it before. Literally, we said it here, and that was at 195. Today we're sitting at what, 1289. So Sanders has jumped 3,400%, and people have watched week after week. Like, okay, there it's going up, going again. I wonder if it'll pull back, and watched it and missed, right? And to me, I'm like, okay, well, the next question I'm gonna get is, well, what's the next one? Like 3,400%.
Was that a better teacher issue, or should they have listened?
That's fear. That's what
I'm not trying to be mean.
No, I'm just saying that's fear. To me, that speaks to fear. That speaks to fear, and that's something that's very common in our community. To answer the question, I'll come back to it, but to answer the question of the biggest mistake that I'm seeing, and I get this call probably 3 to 4 times a day, is easy. What should I do? There's no exit strategy. Some people, if they end the calls, they've made money. The next question is, what should I do? Well, what's your exit strategy? I don't know. What should I? Well, you tell me. Well, did you try to gain 20%? Because if you did, then you hit that metric. If it was 40%, 100%, when you got there, what did you do? Because some people say, well, oh man, if I sell it at 50 and I watch it go to 70, I'm gonna be upset. I'm like, well, what was the goal when you entered the position? Then you can't be upset. You set the metric for yourself. Nobody made it for you. And so the mistake I'm seeing a lot, especially this year, especially over the past 4 weeks, is having no exit strategy. It's so important. Like, you gotta know what it is. I think anybody else you knows my exit strategy. Everyone here should know it. Like, I'm looking for 100%. If I don't get it, am I disappointed? A little bit. But once I get it, what do I do? All right, I'm taking my initial investment out and let's the rest run. Let's do it. Every time. There's no question about it. Have your exit strategy.
I'm gonna be real. Some of you are gonna trade your way into poverty. You're rotating out of the best companies on earth. And the crazy part is, like, you're seeing best of both worlds. You're seeing people get 1,000% return long term, and you're seeing it being done in trading. In 4 or 5 years, especially post economic crash, some of these companies are gonna be too expensive too. Because if SK Hynix and SanDisk is priced where it is now, where does Anthropic come in at? Where does OpenAI come in? Where does SpaceX come in at as a result? And how far will they fly?
And I think you can do both. And I think that's something that people should consider as well. It's like, if you believe in a company,
Gotta do both.
trading, to me, how I look at it, trading, it gives you leverage. So small amounts can turn into large amounts.
Yes.
So, but you need a foundational base. So if you have Google, right, like, you can have a long-term portfolio in Google, and then you have a portion of your total framework that you think you're comfortable being having more risk, and now you can trade Google as well. And I don't think you should look at it as like one or the other. Of like, I'm either going to trade it or I'm going to invest it. I mean, you can't just invest. That's fine too. But if you are, a trader, then it's like, okay, I'm going to have the positions that I hold long term, and then I'm going to have a position that I'm going to feel comfortable trading, and then a certain amount of money as well, a money allocation that you feel comfortable losing because trading is volatile, or you feel comfortable, having it go up and then go down. Like, you can't, not advisable to put every single dollar that you have into trading, because from an emotional standpoint, you're gonna be too emotionally attached to it. So it's not gambling. I think that's when you kind of go into the realm of gambling, when you have $10,000 to your name and you put $10,000 on a one-day trade with the hopes that it's gonna go up 500%. And usually what happens when you do that is that you lose everything because
Yep.
you're not thinking from a rational standpoint. So allocate how much money you feel comfortable out of your investment portfolio to trade if you do want to trade. Make sure you have solid foundational companies that you have in your long term hold. And if you feel really great about a company, then yeah, do both. Buy the company long term, hold, and then take some money and trade the company. If you really have done the research, you feel good about it, and you feel like this is something that you want to just kind of have, that leverage to have outstretch the gains than you would get in a traditional just buy and hold situation.
All facts. That's the leverage. We talked about it last week, but that is exactly what it is. Like you have leverage, right? You built the foundation, and now you're recouping some of the foundation by saying, hey, all right, well, I believe in this company for the long term. Can we have short-term gains here? Is there an opportunity for us to get short-term gains? And that could be in, I know in futures might be different, but it could be 2-year leaps, and maybe it's 6-month leap, right? If I already have the equity in itself, so whether it's Broadcom or it's Nvidia or it's Micron or it's Sanders, do I have that as part of my foundation, right? Like so, you talk about two tech index all the time. That's a foundation. You don't get rid of that. You build on top of that. I think people get lost. They say, all right, well, I'm going to start with just doing that. I'm going to, hey, this stock is running. Let's just buy it. What's your foundation first?
Yeah. And another mistake that people make is listening to the wrong advice or following negativity / losers because you can't grow financially if you're in the loser category. Losers usually tend to hang around with losers, and winners usually tend to hang around with winners. It's human nature.
Okay, tell me more.
Tell me more. It's crazy.
You gotta pick your tribe. Your tribe, your network will determine your net worth. And with that being said, can we talk about this options call that recently did? So
You got an options call?
I did. So
Tell me more about it.
So Micron, MU. I'm sure everybody's familiar with MU now. We talked about MU so much. But I remember Troy had talked about MU last year in his options class at University. I always watch the options University class. We talked about it on March Monday. So that was the first MU option that I purchased. And if you want to get online, I purchased another MU option. And then 2 months ago, I purchased an MU option. So can we show the screenshot, Mike? Okay. All right. So this is a screenshot from my portfolio. So
Can we just give a pie in the chat for your green jacket? Can we do that?
green jacket.
Oh, that's why you ordered green today.
See?
Okay, gotcha.
So the 1400%. That's the first one, and obviously the second one is 355%. You see, those are actually the same dates, January 15th, 2027, and then I went further out and got the December 17, 2027, and that one is up 67%. So before we take this down, just want everybody to just take a mental screenshot. So it's 1400%, it's 355%, and then it's 67%. Okay, Mike, you can bring us back up now. So that, I like to call it the triple crown. Hat trick. You can also call it the hat trick. You can also call it the 4321. Shout out to MG. He did the 4321 with real estate. But the reason why I say 4321 is because it's 4 digits, 1400%, 3 digits, 355%, 2 digits, 67%, and the 1 digit stands for the one company. It's consistent across one company. It's also called stacking. Troy will probably talk about that in a little bit. But okay, why do I talk about this? It's important to stay around positive people, and it's important to listen to. You're never gonna make money from being negative. Now the last one was the most important one to me because that one I'm up 67%. So somebody would say, well, is those 67% more important than the 1400%, because it speaks to a certain level of adversity. When I purchased it, and the reason why I did purchase it is because MU, you know, they blew out their earnings, and I think it had dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, and I purchased it because I'm like, already dropped. But then shortly after I purchased it, it dropped again, pretty drastically actually. But I mean, if you look at MU's last earnings report, it's pretty historic as far as the numbers. Like they did crazy numbers. It didn't drop for it. This is becoming a pattern. They didn't drop because they underperformed. They overperformed. They dropped because Wall Street speculation. People
Profit taking.
have already made so much money, and they've been doing that all the time.
Taking profit.
And you know, you judge a man by you don't judge a man by times of triumph. You judge a man during times of adversity. And during a moment would seem to be adversity, some people chose to throw rocks at said throne.
Disrespectful views. Disrespectful views.
Yes, they did.
Disrespectful views.
Yes, they did.
And there's nothing wrong with criticism, right?
Absolutely not.
Critique is a better word. I would prefer critique.
Was down 30, now we up 60. So the reason why is because look, we waited it out. Didn't panic. I didn't sell. I didn't let outside distractions come into play. We waited it out.
What we did, man? We stay low.
And when you really think about it, 60% for 2 months.
It's amazing.
Within itself.
Like
I said, when I was a financial advisor, we had the rule of 72. And the goal was to get your clients 7.2% a year on their money for 10 years. Because if you get 7.2% on your money for 10 years, like every year for 10 years, then you double your money. So the goal was to try to double people's money in a 10-year time frame, by the way. And this was established. This was like standard. This was industry standard.
This is a law. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So I don't think people don't fully. Sometimes I don't think, especially if you knew, you might not have a full understanding of historical rates of return expectations. Sometimes people's expectations are not realistic. Like they don't fully understand. Like just 67%, 2 months. That's unbelievable within itself. 355%, 1,400%. Now you start to go into the life-changing category. But it's a message. It's a message because the company's a good company. Memory is a core component to the AI infrastructure space. They have the demand for their technology is through the roof. It's not slowing down. It's fundamentally sound. It's not like GameStop. It's fundamentally sound. I mean, everything, check the box. So the option strategy, the leaps, it's long term. We're doing close to the money, strong companies, all of these things to kind of put yourself in a position to win, right? So with that being said, God is the greatest.
God is the greatest.
That is of all time.
God is the greatest.
I will say this. I'm proud. I said this last week, and I'll reiterate it, that nothing makes me more proud than watching like the family win. And so watching his games is I mean, it's an incredible feeling for me to know that, number one, and I said this, people always ask, well, how does your dynamic work? And I'm like, I'm gonna let him be great at something, he's gonna let me be great at something, and when we come together, we all are great. And so spending time in front of the charts, reading, he trusts me to do that, right? Just like the community trusts me to do that. Y'all come here watching and trust me to do that. So I'm super diligent about what we're talking about. So Micron, again, that's not even a company that should be coming as a surprise. We've been talking about it for 2 years when it was $87. And so to watch what it's doing now and hear critique about a company that, we've explained the story, understand the story. We left the part out where I got the phone call when it dipped down. I'm like, look, has the story changed? Like, bro, has the story changed? No, it hasn't changed. In fact, every time we end the show, I'll get like, hey, where do you think this thing's going? I told him when I said this, I think this is going 400. Ran past 400. Yo, Lil Shotty, I really think we're going 500. I came on here 2 weeks after I told him.
Yeah, that's a 6 year.
And so the story hasn't changed. The man hasn't changed. That's only going to increase. Mike, if you could just pull up the next slide real quick, because I think this is important too. Because when we talk about stacking, some people might not understand what that is. And so there's a jean jacket here, but we've had 1,000% returns probably 2 or 3 times already with Micron on this run. Like I said, we were in the 110 call, 130 call. As you can see here, as it's run up, right, number one, that first line so in E-Trade, like that first line that's white, that's me owning shares. So my shares, I think I got like 500 shares.
12.
Those shares are up 320%.
13.
So when we talk about foundation, this is not just the like theoretical things of hypothetical things. This is literally the portfolio. And if you're in EYLU, y'all seen this portfolio. This is not anything that's new, y'all. So you can see like before it was 230, it was 175. All right, let's grab the 230 out to 26. We did that. All right, we still think this thing is going. All right, we're gonna grab 250 out to 27. All right, it's still going. We're gonna grab the 360 out to 27 December. And as we're seeing it pull back, we're gonna grab some more. We're gonna grab some more. And so that is literally what a stack looks like. We have the leverage of having the shares up 320%. We already have a long-term one out to 2027, right? December, you can see it down there, the 360. Now, can we make some gains in between? And obviously, you can see that's what's happening here. Mike, give me the next one too, because it's not just Micron.
SanDisk.
All right, so here's SanDisk. Right, when we talk about leverage, we spoke about it last Monday. Now I said either way, you're gonna be fine, right? Like we had those contracts that were expiring at the end of the week. I know you sold yours Thursday, yeah? You sold yours Thursday. I said I'm gonna hold to the end, and I did. And true to what we're saying, if you watch the earnings report, it blew out all its earnings on every metric, and we watched it climb down.
Over-delivered.
Over-delivered. By the time the market opened, we were back up. By the time we closed, we were up to $97, and so that call was, I think, 140% when I sold it. But look, I still got the one that's going out to this Friday, right? That was at 69% on Thursday, and now we're at 222% going into Friday. I might let this one go already. We've already hit our 100% mark. We took out our initial investment. These are just all runners. Like all these are runners. And as you can see, when we talk about stacking, look at that top one. That's out to January of 2028. We are sitting here in May of 2026. That's a 230 call. If I show you how much each one of those calls go for right now,
it'll change your mind, change your life.
You'd be in shock. I should have put that in here. But this is what we're talking about, having leverage, right? I'm out to 2028 already. Can we make some money in the intermediate? And that's what we've been doing with SanDisk. And shout out to everybody that has. Like, you can bring us that.
So,
now, real quick, Mike, can you bring up my slide real quick?
Please.
Just finish the trifecta.
Let's do
The
it.
power of long-term holding, right? Because some people may say I left a critical company out in Intel, but I still don't like Intel even though it's going up the percentage that it has. But if you're in Micron, in NVIDIA, in Lumentum, this is all long-term. The power of manifestation, as you can see it being done in others, this person is up 1.6. So listen to those who are executing, not those who are critiquing. I pray that you execute so you can refrain from critiquing. But we're showing you long-term, short-term. And even like if Rashad is down 20 or 30% in the call, that's not a lot to be down. The power of holding long-term. Put it in chat. If I hold long-term, I can become free.
That's a fact.
If I hold long-term, I can become free. Go ahead, Troy.
Now, I was going to say, like, that's the part, right? Do you have the discipline? Because before the Micron call that expired in February got to 1,300%, it was down 60%. And I was transparent with the entire community. Look, here's where we are. Troy, what you doing? I'm not moving. Why? I believe in the company. I believe in the story. It's not going anywhere. Listen, I literally broke it down to a picture. I said, here, I brought it here on Market Mondays. I brought it inside you. Here it was at the heart of this AI revolution, right? It's going to be the GPUs. But in order for AI inference to work, and we've heard it, and all those who went to NVIDIA, you heard it as well, it has to remember. It has to have processing. And so if you prompt it, it has to make sure that it remembers it, it has to store it, and it has to give you back information. If it can't remember, if it doesn't have that inference, there's no point of having it. And so if you see more AI models being built, that means more memory is going to be needed. Right? That means SK Hynix is going to be a part of it. That means Samsung's going to be part of it. Micron's going to be part of it. Sandisk is going to be part of it. Western Digital, Seagate, they're all going to be part of it. All have different components, right? We talked about high bandwidth. We talked about SSD, right? They're all going to have a part in this story, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And shout out to everybody that can DRAM or DRAM the ETF, which is going crazy. If you didn't know, SK Hynix reported and they blew out their earnings, and then Samsung reported and they blew out their earnings. Yeah, if you're not tracking that, that's just a little food for thought.
And then the last thing I'll say about this is that so the next question is like, well, how can I know about this? How can I be in the group chat? Well, you are in the group chat. Here's the thing. You got 3 years. So we just was in Kenya, and we'll talk more about this gold mine. I'm sure that you've seen the gold mine content by now. One of the main people involved with the gold mine, he's up there. He was at InvestFest, and he said that the major thing that inspired him to really, he was like, Magic, when he heard Magic say you got 3 years, he went to his wife and was like, look, I need 3 years. Fast forward, and we're at a gold mine. We'll tell you the story later. Stay tuned. Sometimes in life, you gotta have a sense of urgency.
For sure, you gotta move quickly.
You gotta move quickly. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Sometimes in life, it is what it is. The market's not gonna even stay the same forever. Okay? Last time before InvestFest, EYL University, we were doing a flash offer, flash deal, 20 slots. We open up for 3 year access, 20 slots, choice options class, I believe is next Thursday.
Yep.
I mean, what more can we show you? Just showed you 3 slides. If you're interested, there's not even a lot to sell here. Kind of sells itself. 3 year access. This is only 20 slots. It's only 20 slots for a reason. These classes are only meant to fit a certain amount of people. You can't have every single person on the class. 20 slots only. First come, first serve. Go to EYLUniversity.com. This will be the last offer, bundle, sale, whatever you want to call, before InvestFest. Maybe even after InvestFest for the year, I'm not sure. But 20 slots only, and it's not just his options class. There's real estate, there's my financial planning call, there's so much. But there's an app, people talk about their trades all day. Troy actually just talks about, like, this is what I'm gonna do. You can do it if you wanna do it. Closest thing you're gonna get to the group chat, to be honest with you. The group chat, that's not gonna happen. It's just impossible to happen, to be honest with you.
We did the group chat, and what was the return from that?
No, crazy. Yeah. I got a few group chats that's like.
So,
yeah, 2,200%, 1,800%.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
EYLUniversity.com. First come, first serve. 20 slots. 3 year bundle deal. We don't usually do these multi-year things. It's either monthly or annually. You can get it for 3 years. If you can't make money for 3 years, then being at EYL University, you just wasn't meant to make money. It wasn't gonna work out for you anyway.
You just gotta be broke.
Yeah, of course.
Disclaimer.
Okay, but once again, I do want to thank any level of criticism, because, like Julian Brown said, sometimes when people critique you, and this is a valuable lesson for you when you're running your business, ladies and gentlemen, a hater. Just because somebody's a hater doesn't mean that their opinion is completely invalidated. Because sometimes they actually make very good. Sometimes they actually make very good points. Because most haters are actually people that are actually they have a very strange admiration for you, and their admiration, it's like a stalker. Like, their admiration turns into something toxic. But in order for them to actually want to be that close, because they gotta watch your content, they gotta study you. You're not gonna watch and study somebody that you hate. it's a weird fascination that they have with you, but they've studied you. They studied you, and sometimes they'll give a negative critique in the form of like very like they'll try to embarrass you. They'll do it in a toxic way. But the core fundamental of what they're saying, they actually could be making some valid points, and they actually could give you some opportunities to
And ideas.
and ideas for sure. So
Thank you.
please, thank you, because this wouldn't be possible without the critique. This whole campaign that I'm on right now, because this is my fourth post about it.
Same.
I created a whole marketing campaign. I created a whole marketing campaign around around the hate.
Same. Love hate. That's what the millionaire campaign came out. Same. Great minds think alike. So take any negative that someone is saying about you and give back to the community.
Stay low
Thank
key
you, my
fireman.
brother. I appreciate
Stay
you.
low key fireman.
Appreciate you so much.
And shout out to everybody that obviously is paying attention, is executing. Because, like I said, it's not just me, it's not just you. There's people that have greater returns than what we've shown you tonight. And that's incredible, too. Like, that is the fuel. Like, all right, we're moving at a different frequency right now. People are getting it, they're investing it, they're seeing that accounts change, they're seeing, like, their lives change. They're seeing more money than they've ever seen. So, execution. Information on us, execution on you.
What is stocks? Is it time to sell? I know that after that, right? So is it time to sell the stocks because they say something like sell in May, walk away?
Oh, man, go away. Yeah.
So being that stocks are currently right now at its all-time high across the board for the most part.
No, it's not
Is it
time to
time
set
to
the long-term
walk
stop.
away, exit stage left?
No, I know Gary Shilling said, amazing economist, that the market could fall 30% a year. When I was watching the conversation at Milken Institute, right, the one thing I noticed is that and you guys have been to Davos and conversations that I've had and ascertained, most people only tell you about selling when it's media time. Privately, has Robert Smith, like when he tried to sell you the agent, did he ever say, "Man, I'm about to get rid of this guy"? It doesn't happen. Put this in chat. The only people who tell you to sell are those who want you to be broke. No wealthy investor or any investor who's any good is telling you to get rid of the entire landscape of investing. You have Agentic that is still untapped. Anthropic is doing $30 billion a year. For those who don't know, that is a gigantic number. They haven't even went public yet. Samsung's on a tear. Nvidia's on a tear. Lilly is about to go on a tear. Meta is on the verge of having a turnaround. So, all the people who are the wealthiest people on the planet, even when we could talk about Greg Abel and Warren Buffett in a little, they have billions of dollars of cash waiting for the right time to buy.
What position? I'm telling you.
I know the axiom of sell in May and go away. This is a great accumulation time. So, should the market tick down in May? Yes. But we just left one of the greatest months in the history of investing. Like this past month was comparable. If everybody's like, yo, we was 2020. Last month was your version of 2020.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who took advantage of it, like even for the screenshot, 400,000 of that 1.6 was right up last month.
Mm-hmm.
So no, all for the long term. May, June, August will be tough. That it's time to accumulate. Hold for the long term.
Yeah, I think I don't sell here. I think if you look at the story, and maybe that may sound confusing, like, well, what's the story? Well, when I say the story, has the AI story changed? And again, it has. Well, how do we know? We saw the biggest companies in the world report last week, and there's a couple things you gotta listen for. Has the CapEx spend going down? No. Okay.
That means they're still investing into the technology.
That means they're spending it. And if they're spending the money, that means they're spending with companies, right? Like, I know it sounds like, oh, it's just bypassing. Hey, they're going to spend $72 billion. Well, that $72 billion is being allocated somewhere. That means there's companies that are going to take in that revenue. That's why I said the story hasn't changed, right? So memory obviously is at the forefront of that. And we'll talk about some other infrastructure plays inside of AI that you should be having on your radar. But
Computer.
that hasn't changed.
Energy.
Has the earnings from these huge mega cap companies, has that changed? Have they beat earnings? Quarter after quarter, we keep seeing the same thing. They beat earnings, but they pull back because of the capex spend. Okay, that's the same thing. Well, what about the consumer? Has consumer spending gone down? Well, if you look at Visa's report last week, no. If you talk to JP's report, not really. If you look at TJ Maxx, if you look at Hilton and the hotels, you're still seeing spending. And so that tells you that, I'll put in quotations, the resiliency is there. Now, something is happening in May. Obviously, we're going to get a new Fed chair. If you look historically, when a new Fed chair steps in to his seat or her seat, that usually is a trickle down inside the market. Now, it hasn't happened yet, but it will at some point in May. And so will be a pullback? Yeah, for sure. But I think after that, and I heard Tom Lee saying it as well, NVIDIA reports on the 20th. That'll be a key. And then let's see what that momentum does going into June. July has, if you look at historically, July has been a pretty good month. August, September is when we start saying, okay, let's make sure we have reserves. We're going to start seeing some profit taking. We're going to see some downturn. Those 3 months are always in that space. August, September, October, and then it's back to the cycle of November to April again.
Tom Lee,
What would be the equivalent? Sean, go ahead.
He says anything.
That's not true. We're not gonna do
No. Tom Lee's pretty. He's intelligent. He's intelligent. No, he's intelligent.
We're not doing that.
Now, some
we can argue.
Yeah, some of the takes are grand. He does have grand takes, but if you look at definitely the past 5 years, he's been on point, man. Like him and Dan Ives, I know that, and they're Super Bowls.
Tom Lee, I like Tom Lee. He says anything about crypto, Bitcoin. He's been all over the place. He has a habit.
Let's say prior crypto fund though. Before that.
All right, let's focus on crypto because that's what he's focused on. That's what he says a lot. He talks a lot about crypto.
Yeah,
he says Bitcoin is going to be 180,000 by the end of the year. Last year.
Okay, Bitcoin. I'm not doing that. With the S&P.
Can we be honest? All of them make those rounds and make those dumbass proclamations because they're trying to raise funds.
Marketable risk.
Kathy did it. He did it. Sailor allegedly. They're doing it to drum up interest to sell a narrative that isn't going to come true in the time frame that they're talking about. But being a perma bull in tech is the right position to be in.
That part, yeah. I would say that part. Because the tech piece where he's seeing the S&P, a lot of it I agree with. Yes, some of it is very green. And that's been the continuous theme. It's almost like I'm going to overshoot so that even if it falls a little bit under that, hey, I told you.
What don't you like about his takes shot?
I like him. I think he's an extremely intelligent person, but is it overshooting or you just saying anything? Like, it's just Bitcoin's going to be 200,000 by July. And it turns into, it's 90,000. Oh, I overshot it.
That's gross.
S&P is gonna be 10,000. Like he's just saying just numbers. Like, but the numbers they're not even close. He's done this with crypto for quite some time. He's done
the numbers in crypto. I think specifically because he's been pretty spot on with the S&P. Now his next thing is that after we go through some turmoil here in the next few months, we're gonna go on the greatest run that we've ever seen in human history. Like he literally has said that. Will that happen?
That's an overshoot too. That's an overshoot.
We shall see.
That's an overshoot.
Yeah.
But I'll let Tom go out there.
He's a good guy. I think he's intelligent. I think he's an extremely intelligent person. I just think, like I said, he just has very outlandish numbers. Yeah, he's just putting his numbers out there.
And to everybody, I'm not shooting at anybody in particular, but to everybody who had the .eth in your Twitter bios and IG a couple years ago, what the fuck is going on with Ethereum? And where's Vitalik?
Quiet. Staying low. Staying low.
Just a question. So, I'm not attacking the asset. I'm just asking a question.
The national debt is now 100% of GDP. Down to 100% of GDP. First time ever. Concerning. What does this do for not just the state of the economy, but investing portfolios moving forward? Like, at some point in time, this is Ray Dalio's biggest fear.
Mm-hmm.
How does this impact everyday investors?
I keep saying it's going to make the economy worse. The bad part is, as a result, with so much economic unsafety, people are going to pile more money into the best stocks on earth. We were just talking about it. Like, no one wants 7 to 12% anymore. Like, people are looking at 30% year-over-year return as failure. Why though? Debt to GDP, which I've been talking about since 21, and
Mm-hmm.
the rate of inflation. So if the real cost of inflation is 25 to 45%, you can't even afford to get 7 to 12%. It's been gross mismanagement of the country for the longest period of time. Some people are saying that even if it goes up another 80% from here, we'll be fine. We won't. It's going to destroy the economy. But the inverse of that is the top, let's say, 40 or 50 stocks in the Nasdaq and S&P 500 are going to go off because you have to put that capital and deploy that capital somewhere. It's something that needs to be corrected immediately, but I don't think in this administration or maybe even the next, people are going to want to tackle it. And hopefully the Fed chair will start to make some changes. But given how he was sworn in and brought in, he's not going to make any changes anytime soon.
Not even cutting rates.
It wouldn't even help. Like, we're spending more on servicing the debt than we are national defense. That's scary.
So then the inverse would be a possibility, right? Increasing rates, which would be
And even if you do that, the mismanagement of that cycle, like when Jerome Powell walked away and said his final goodbye, you can see, he's going to miss the position. He also looked slightly terrified for what's to come. My favorite thing in those interviews is to watch the body language. He was sad. He had that Will Smith goodbye moment at the end of Fresh Prince, right? But he also looked terrified knowing what's to come. Why do you think everyone's saying 2 to 3 years? Like, the debt, once again, that we have is more than we're spending on military defense with one of the worst administrations ever, and voting rights just got taken away. I keep saying, anything that's done this flawlessly is not done by accident. Everyone kept saying Project 2025 was fake. This the fucking triangle offensive racism. I've never seen nothing like it in my lifetime. So, what do you guys think?
It's something you can't. It's not sustainable.
So,
It's not
Ronnie,
sustainable. It's not sustainable. You can't keep kicking the can down the road and just eventually it's gonna you know cause major problems with the American economy and the global economy as a
mm-hmm. Private credit, another concern. Housing instability, another concern. There's still a couple Ponzi schemes in the market that have not been revealed. When those things start to crack, you're going to get a bad scenario.
I think, yeah, there's a couple things that happen, right? If interest rates go up, and that outweighs government spending, and that'll affect U.S. Treasuries, then we'll have a huge problem at our hands. So, I mean, it's a heavy job that Walsh is walking into.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting to see in that first 30 to 60 days what he attacks first, or what he deems as the highest priority. I know there's a lot of pressure. I mean, pressure's there. He says that he doesn't have to listen to the guy who appointed him at the position. We'll see how true that is.
Well, see, you got 3 years. You got 3 years left. Get your tickets to invest first.
Mm-hmm.
So when this flip, about to get spooky out. We gonna talk about it on Blackout. As far as the permanent underclass that they talking about, they artificial intelligence is being a permanent underclass.
Told you. It is legal racism to be able to destroy 6 to 17 million jobs and never put a face in front of it. And for those of you like, why do you guys talk about racism? Hey, I'm black. But some of you are black and Latino and say that, and you're not as wealthy as us. This shit is real. They're not gonna look out for you. They're not gonna do it.
That's a fact.
They're not looking out for you. They're not looking out for some of their own. Remember the oh, you just put yourself by your bootstraps. Well, stop talking. We're on a precipice of national collapse while BRICS is waiting for us to make another misstep. They're scared. It was just a few years ago that they had to absolve and absorb a bank, and then they kept flushing money into the repo market overnight to prevent some banks from going under. Scary. But what do I know?
Spooky hours. We call that spooky hours. Hit the like button and share, ladies and gentlemen. We are moving into the second half of the show. We got a lot to talk about. Um, let's go through the best AI infrastructure plays.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. And you know what I'll do for them? Because I feel like we've spoken about these individually, maybe by sector inside of AI. And so I'm gonna run down the ones we've spoken about on the show. And I know Jensen likes to talk about that five-layer cake when it comes to AI. So we'll start with energy. Canova. I think it's gonna be. They didn't have been a leader. We've been talking about this since it was in the 500s. Was probably sitting over 1100 or somewhere in that area now. Uh, we we know the data center story is real. We know energy is vital to the story, but who can deliver that at the fastest pace? Who's going to be able to create turbines that can be sold? Who can do it from an international standpoint to satisfy the needs on a global demand? So GE Renova is one, Caterpillar is another. We're talking about gas turbines. And boom, I know people have been asking, what about DE? What about DE? Very similar to that energy story. So DE, that would be three right there in energy. That if you don't have on your watch list, you should. Cooling, we spoke about this, and shout out to everybody at NVIDIA again. If you were part of that group,
Sure.
Section 1 or Section 2, you saw it firsthand. The company that they're partnering with in terms of liquid cooling, networking, Vertiv, VRT. We spoke about this plenty of times on the show. But it's definitely in the portfolio, and a lot of y'all have calls on it. If you don't, let's put it on your watch list because I think that's going to be one that's going to be a leader. Networking and connectivity. We spoke about Arista, ticker is ANET. Again, understanding how a rack is put together, understanding the components, and understanding the wiring and connectivity that's going to be needed to have that function at the highest rate. They're going to be part of it. Light, LITE, that is the ticker momentum.
We'll talk about it later.
I put that in the last class. Again, connectivity is going to be how can we make data travel at the fastest and most efficient way? Light's going to be at the forefront of that. Corning, which we spoke about, GLW, will be at the forefront of that. And Fabrinet, I had a call with Shadi earlier about Fabrinet. We put this, and Ian, the first place I ever spoke about that was in Red Panda. So shout out to Red Panda.
That was what, last November?
That was last November, and I said, look, I'm telling y'all before I'm telling EYL University, I'm telling before Market Mondays, I'm telling y'all that's the company. They actually reported till they pulled back a little bit, but they've been on the tier since November. So that would be in networking and connectivity, and then you have compute, and I think those are players we know, right? We know AMD, we know Broadcom, AVGO, we know NVIDIA, and we can put TSM. There's going to be something interesting that's happening with TSM that we got to keep an eye on, and maybe we'll get to that. Maybe I'll save it for next week. And then memory, obviously memory, right? Like, we can't go anywhere without that. We talked about the importance of it. You got Micron, you got SanDisk, you got Western Digital, you got Seagate. I'll run down the tickers really quick. MU, SNDK for SanDisk, Western Digital is WDC, and Seagate is STX. And then we spoke about this, and Shadi was like, Troy, I need you to do this clip. And I was like, all right, man, you know, I like to just stay low and keep fire and being in the research. But we talked about EDA, electric design automation, and we talked software. And so if you watch software companies, specifically, I want to say Oracle could fit in that category as you, but Salesforce fits in that category, Snowflake fits in. They've been hit pretty hard, right? But if you look at the software side of the AI story, and we're talking about Cadence, and we're talking about Synopsys and who they're partnering with in terms of
They've almost
hyperscaler.
replaced me. Yeah.
Oh my God, look at how they've performed. And I know we did this at the mastermind. People are like, what should we do? It's down 20%. I haven't got too many texts about what should we do now. We're up 80, 93%. Believing in the story, understanding the story, and having conviction the story is important. So that's EDA. And then the last category is assembly and packaging. And that's going to be the focus of the next class. So assembly and packaging, is going to be part of that infrastructure. There's companies that we should know if we don't know, but I'll break that down in Thursday's class. How's that?
Can I go
Y'all
to
good?
your love?
Let's do it.
Mike, can you play the video real quick?
Good day, good day, good day, my beautiful people. It's a beautiful Monday today, and I'm so happy, grateful, and thankful of all the things that I have, will have, and is currently manifesting. I woke up this morning and looked at my stocks today. Momentum. Okay, 1 year ago it was $81. Today, 1 year later, it's $996, almost $1,000. So imagine if you took that $100 and put it in this stock 1 year ago, you would have about $900 today. Profited $900. Wouldn't you rather spend that on some stocks and get $900? Like this card year, probably $1,000. I could have put that in and then
So I'll go through a couple that I love. Just Rashad, on your same vibe, preponderance of evidence is a quote. Now, word of the week, preponderance.
Preponderance, love it.
Word of the week. I like Caterpillar for sure. I like ARM. Bloom Energies and Stock Club. The momentum is one that I talked about quietly last year. It's done incredibly well. The question is like, what do I invest in outside of NVIDIA for the AI infrastructure? And it's like, I want to bring you back to, you don't need more than four. Some of you are going to rotate out of the best companies in the world, switching one company for another. But Caterpillar, love, ARM, I like a lot. This one, the Queen, thank you, Queen, talked about, I like a lot. And Bloom Energy is one that I like a lot as well. So pick your four, put them in chat now. But the most important thing, I'm begging you, as a person who's been in this game for a long time, I don't want you guys to have 50 and 80 shares of 25 companies apiece. You need to pick four and have thousands or tens of thousands of shares. The same investment in that company, ticker LIT, 10 grand would have been 90,000, 100 grand would have been 900,000 just from the time she got in. Some people are up 1,400%. But the most important decision you're going to make is which four are you going to pick? Back to you, Rashad. Word of the week, because I know big words trigger some of you. Preponderance of evidence.
And for the people that said that she misspelled a word, I think you're missing the point.
Who gives a fuck? I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
If we get demonetized, I'll pay the little fee with the vig in between. Who? Look at the return.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you up 900,000%,
Don't matter.
you can afford to misspell a word.
Some of you have misspelled what to invest in.
Fact.
Stay focused on what matters.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm gonna give him a little extra. I'm gonna put on extra because people are like, well, she did that with light, but what does that even do? And so I try to explain it like this: think of cars on the highway and think of the highway, right? And so when we talked about GLW, talking about fiber optics, right? We're talking about glass. How are we going to have data be transmitted at the highest level to be more efficient? Right now, copper is what's being used, right? But that takes a lot of energy to keep at a functioning level and high speed. And so glass and laser has that the technology that people are talking about. And so when you talk about that, Corning would be that the glass that would be used, like fiber optics, right? You know, it's on your
Also,
iPhone.
just to be part of what I got.
It's the glass for your iPhone now. But Lumentum Light is part of that laser process that's going to transfer the data, right? So you think of the road, which would be Corning, GLW, and think of the cars that are traveling, that would be like what Lumentum does. They are the cars that are going to be on that highway. And so you can understand why that would be something that's going to be definitely forward thinking. If we're trying to figure out how much data can we move at the fastest rate and the most efficient rate, those type of companies are going to be at the forefront.
Yeah, just think there's something to data centers and also we kept saying this. As the world changes, the world's greatest companies are going to adapt. So even Caterpillar was a great company pre-AI, but they became more valuable as data centers was being built. A lot of you also need to figure out too, if data center correction happens and everything isn't built, um, how will your portfolio be affected? In 2020, I came on and talked about CGW, investing in water. Well, the off or side effect of investing in data centers is it's going to mess up your water supply by design. So CGW, of course, has gotten more valuable over time. Talked about that in 2020. But once again, please put this in chat. You only need four.
Mm-hmm.
You only
Yeah.
need four.
Yeah, and that's why you got to look ahead to what technology is being built, who's doing the infrastructure. I know Bloom was, it's an interesting company because when we talk about power, we talk about energy, their focus is in staying off the power grid. Like the grid is probably the biggest bottleneck in terms of
bottleneck of the infrastructure
of energy infrastructure. And so if they figured out a way to not be on that grid and still create turbines that can power data centers, that's something that's very interesting, which is why you see them being rewarded with the stock where it is moving now.
Can I give them one more tidbit?
Let's do it.
There's only three sectors that matter. Write this down: tech, healthcare, and energy. A lot of your problems will go away. Because somebody had messaged me earlier today, like you haven't talked about consumer discretionary. I'm like, tech is going to outperform a lot of segments anyway. If you just focus on tech, healthcare, and energy, that's always been the three sectors that have mattered the most and that have yielded the highest returns. You'll be A-okay. And even in healthcare, there's probably 12 or 13 great companies. In energy, there's probably 14, 15 great companies. In tech, probably 60 great companies to pick from. Pick from those three sectors and you'll be A-okay.
Yeah. What would consumer discretionary look like if Amazon wasn't part of it?
And like Nike, these are my thoughts, my views are not reflective of Troy Rashad, Earn Your Leisure, Michael McDonald, and anyone else associated with the brand. It will look like Nike.
That's tough.
Tim Cook, when are you gonna make the announcement that you?
Hey.
So,
Yeah, we should figure out why it stays there. Obviously e-commerce, but it just feels like a tech company.
yeah.
Bitcoin.
Mitigation and risk though. Going back to that, they can't remove them out of that because it'll be free fall in that sector.
Yeah, number 2 is Tesla, so.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's on the rise, $80,000 dollars per Bitcoin currently. So, what is the future of Bitcoin? What's the Bitcoin update?
I know some people may be disappointed that Bitcoin hasn't hit an all-time high when some stocks have and some indexes have, but if you believe in the asset, hold in that long period of time. Like for the gold, that's what I love when gold took off. The people who were gold bugs for a long period of time and knew the value of it, they didn't move. So if you know the value of Bitcoin, don't move from your position. Like I keep saying, the biggest mistakes I see people making is they're selling the asset too early, and it's like the Spurs aren't getting rid of Wemby if he has a bad game in May. That's what a lot of investors either have a bad month or maybe even a bad quarter, and they're like, well, I'm going to move to something else. I'm like, why? You don't think that there's going to be value in Bitcoin in 2 years when BlackRock and Vanguard and Larry Fink has done everything in their power to get controlling interest in it? Hope for the long term. Give it to end of the year and see where it is. I think we start to see some highs being broken later in the year, but stop rotating out of assets that matter.
Well, they said that they've actually identified the founders of Bitcoin now. 2 people. There was an expose that has been done. Does that?
They weren't Japanese?
No, they were not.
No. Told you three.
Okay.
Who were the founders?
I forgot the guy's names. Let me look it up.
Was one Adam or no?
It wasn't Yokomoto.
Satoshi?
Did the documentary drop? I didn't. Did it come out?
Satoshi Nakamoto?
Yeah. Who is Satoshi? It was like a documentary. I don't know if it came out. I definitely want to check it out though. But the guys who were in that were saying that they were not him. They had a lot of the information, but they were not him.
Yeah.
Mike Texas, Adam Black.
Adam Black? And what's the other
Adam
guy?
Black.
What's the other guy's name?
Alleged.
There's two
Spoke
people.
to you guys 3 years ago. And the most important, the city, Langley. Listen the first time. Told you. Even y'all, Shelly, I hear you. Yes. The city, though, matters a lot. Origin point. If you've read some of them, like that's the thing about being online for a long time. When I used to have to like log in AOL and like kick my mom off her phone call, if you read some of the white papers from back then when you had dial-up, there was already cryptograph plans in the early 90s. That was not. If you think somebody in Japan made an asset that powerful with little compute power on a fucking compact Rosario, I got a bridge I can send you or city.
No, I think everybody at this point knows. But now that we've actually, let's say that the New York, I think the New York Times is the one that actually did that expose. But let's say that it's incredible, and they found there's a Bitcoin. It's like, does this matter? Does it mean anything?
No, because they didn't care before when I said it. No, it doesn't matter because it's the store value. Okay, and taking me out of it, if the plan is to get rid of all physical currency and move you to a digital currency, which is being ushered in through AI and digital IDs, you're going to need monetary infrastructure to be able to transact. People already love it. You've gotten high returns. They don't care who the founder was. They told you that a Japanese man in the corner of Osaka made a currency worth 128 megabytes. People don't care about the founder story when they care more about return.
That's true.
I told you guys this is it. Y'all kill me. Well, you don't know nothing about Bitcoin. You Bitcoin hater. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, Langley made it. Put your ass in chat if I told you this years ago. Adam and Langley. That's what
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Thank you.
So, no, it won't change it. And I would be real, especially in some communities. Oh, you love a good non-huge founder anyway. Probably make them support it more.
Yeah, I doubt if you ask people if they cared who the founder was, I would assume that most people could care less.
Most don't care.
And we made money.
Okay. Stock prices. Can we give out some stock prices?
Shall we? Or should we make more quickly?
This is a long list, man. You want to
Let's do. You know what? Let's do 3, and maybe we can do 3 next week. Yeah, let's do 3. Which ones you want to focus on?
Well, I keep seeing it in the chat, and I guess because we talked about. Well, you know what? Momentum is on here, so somebody put light on here. You want to do that one?
Yeah, I like that
As you look at it, I'm just going to remind people that Momentum obviously has had its run up, and we always talk about catalyst events. They're going to be reporting earnings on, I think it's tomorrow. The fifth tomorrow. They report tomorrow after the bell, I believe. So that'd be interesting to see if there's maybe a pullback. But this entry point might be something that people can take advantage of.
Yeah, I like it if it drops down to 860.73. It's too high right now. You cannot buy it in the 900s. But I do like it at 860.73 if it pulls back there within 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
What about Eli Lilly?
My baby. Should be on the tier soon. I like Lilly at 883.02, so $883.02. Write it down. Stock Club, I won't give my prices away, but I do want to give some value to the people and the new month who may have missed out. So Lilly 883.02.
This is a pretty sick list. So we did Momentum. Meta's has pulled back a bit here. There's some issues with the Manus AI acquisition, to say the least. So that revenue's listen, we're gonna pay y'all back for that TikTok, allegedly. What's your thoughts on Meta?
Shout out to everybody at Meta, HQ, Hudson office as well. Brian, what up? I gotta call you. I like Meta at $580.76. I think the proclamation of them doing incredibly well by end of the year is absolutely true. So I think it's good.
Solid, solid. I guess I mean we can't leave the night without talking about Sanders.
Man, that shit
It's
is
been
burning alcohol,
it's
burn like
horrible run.
fuck.
A tear. I don't even know what to call it. It's tough to.
Unprecedented run, yo.
Yeah, I'll say people ask, well, what's the entry point? And I'm like, look, man, I gotta reset it. I gotta reset it. Every day it feels like
It's
you gotta
crazy,
reset it
so fun.
because the story's so amazing. Once you currently, as it sits at, what number are we at now?
It's at 12:55:86.
Oh my gosh, yeah, so far.
God.
What's your thoughts on Sanders?
You want to
As
wait
a
for a pullback to 1094.42. It may take 3 or 4 months for it to happen. This is a classic case though. When a company is on a tear, you can't chase it at a high because at some point you're going to put a significant amount of money into it, 30 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand, and it's going to slide to the downside and it's going to break your confidence.
Yeah.
Well, at 11:01:10, I like it if it pulls back that far. And for people who are like, hey, I missed out, I don't know what to do. Every stock in the history of man has always pulled back. The average time that a tech stock will have a reign is 18 years. If you believe in Sanders today, I think it should be great for the next maybe 12 or 13 years. You don't think any time that we're going to have a pullback for it to get to a price that's attractive enough? Even if you look in March, it was at 760 and it slid down to 565. And people thought the run was over there. Wait for a pullback by that price should be good. Hold for a 5-year term. Also, stop trying to turn market monies into your trading show. These are for you to hold for a long period of time. There's more money on the upside as well if you're holding for a long period of time.
Yeah, I still see upside with Sanders. As crazy as it sounds.
And
Even you say like a pullback to 1100 is just like we've been here since 195, right?
Yep.
So those type of pullbacks are, I mean, yeah, if you're just investing in it, it does kind of suck. But this is why you hold long term positions. I think they did something brilliant. Obviously, they blew up their quarters, but that idea of people saying, "Oh, this sector is super cyclical. Look at its history since 2000. It's super cyclical." I think they did something brilliant. And if you listen to the report, read the report, they're actually taking on multi-year contracts now to kind of offset that, right? They're doing 5-year deals, 3-year deals, and if you watch,
which is a great business lesson.
exactly, if you watch it and you see the people who they're partnering with, it makes a lot of sense why you're going to see this story continue on. Plus, as the demand continues at the rate that it is, they set the prices. We were with Ty the other day, and I'm telling him, like, you guys, especially in the digital world, like creators,
Yeah.
like, well, what do you put your data on? Oh, we put it on these flash drives. Well, who makes it? Oh, Samsung. Okay, there's Samsung. At one point, he put out a flash drive and it was Micron. I was like, yo, y'all know
All the
story.
tools are right there for you to invest in.
It's there, right? If you take a pic, you go to CVS and you look at the counter. There's a bunch of SanDisk memory cards sitting there.
And those
waiting
prices
for
have went up so much from 4 years ago.
That's where I was going. They were, hey, 6 months ago, let's say it was 2 gigs or 1 terabyte or something. It might have been $400. Now it's at $1,200, right? And so if the retail investor is paying that much as a consumer, what do you think they're charging institutional firms
On the enterprise side, yep.
Oh my gosh, because they set the barrier. So that story's not changing. So I see upside still with Sanders. Should we do one more?
Sure.
All right, we did Bloom, we did Light. Let's go SoFi. Let's go SoFi. I've seen that people just love to talk SoFi.
No. But maybe because it's one of those stocks under $30. If SoFi gets to $8.89, that is a price that I would like to take a stab at it to hold maybe to like 24.
Circle, SoFi.
I don't know why people love SoFi. I think they've underperformed, especially for the class that they are in, but it is cheap.
They like Circle too.
So yeah, at that price, if it falls back that far to 8 or 9, I'll probably ride it up back to $24 flat. Put in the chat, why y'all love SoFi? It's going through these volatile swings in 21. Like the 28 to $31 range is where resistance is for them. They have some deep dives. I know the promise. It's like them and Snowflake. People had
The
a
market.
lot of
Oh
hope
no,
for, and they've underperformed.
that's the future. I was gonna say
Yeah,
this shit
Snowflake,
closed up
that's gonna take
point
some
oh
time.
0.01%.
That's gonna take some time. I see dramas on the list, and if we've given you SanDisk and we talked about Micron tonight, that I mean those are sitting inside that ETM.
Yeah.
So Brown Hill created that ETF a little over a month ago, maybe to the date. It was created a month ago.
Yeah.
Um, and that's how you get access to SK Hynix, which is supposed to IPO at some point
Or SK Hynix in there too.
in the next couple months. Samsung as well. And so if you're watching that chart, I know sometimes you're watching, you're like, how do I get that? I can't buy Samsung. This is how you get access to the number one, in a lot of cases, number one memory company in the world. If we're talking about how the story is ending, that would be a good ETF. We said it a couple of weeks ago. Are you in those schools? We in those schools, right? No. Yeah, we in those schools. I think we bought it in the money like at 33. I know today it got up to 42. And so these are hitting all-time highs. Obviously, the rule of thumb is we don't want to invest when it's all-time high. There'll be some opportunities to pull back. I would like it in the mid-30s if you can get it. And it's still affordable. If you want to buy it in the money, it's still a pretty affordable call to get into. Yeah.
Oh, can I do something special? For those who join EYLU for the next 4 months, can I give them the price exclusively to John? I haven't even put it in the stock yet.
There you have it.
What was yours?
Master Investor has said that he will give the price of Drum to anybody that takes advantage of the offer. And if you joined late and you don't know the offer, EYL University flash deal, 20 slots, 3-year offer. And that includes Troy's options class, which will happen next Thursday. So if you want to take advantage, EYL University 3-year offer. And the reason why we did 3 years
I keep wanting to
is
reach my phone.
because Magic told us we have 3
This shit was at
years.
$28, $29. Now
This
it's at
wasn't just a
42.
random number that we picked.
Them
3
ETF
years. 3 years can change your life.
prices.
3 years can change your life, but you gotta be focused. Would you give up 3 years to live how you want for 30? That's the question you gotta ask yourself.
Better. You're risking one to make 10. And if you have any distractions in your life, get rid of. You see, even us personally, that run, Mitchell Jab, Jermaine Dupri, woo, fire, like on the move. ETF Central, that's Good Morning America. You see us working at a clip that Zuckerberg, even Brad Gerstner talking about the invest kids. People are working at a higher clip than I've ever seen in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Because they know what's around the corner.
Gotta do it.
Yep.
Gotta do it. And Mike is DRAM. Somebody in the chat said, is he saying drum like DROM? Is DRAM DRAM?
Yo, whatever. It's
ETL.
drum,
And he just apologized
DRAM,
to Corey.
whatever.
Corey's in the check and he just texted me that Round Hill just filed to have a Max 7 ETL.
Shout out to Corday.
Oh God.
Up for that.
Jean Jacket alumni.
The jean jacket.
And look Bibby too.
Lil Bibby on the check-in.
Shout out.
Shout out to Lil Bibby. Chicago's own.
Yeah.
Been tapping for a minute as far as business. People think he been buying real estate, and he was doing a lot on the business side early on.
The world tapped in. The world is tapped in.
heavy now too.
And you never know who's watching, because like I said, shout out to the brother Eugene. We was in Kenya, and like I said, it's the gold mine. We're gonna give more information about the gold mine, don't worry. But he was saying he's from London, and I was like, yo, we did Roll Out Hall. He's like, I was there. He's like, I was there at Cape London. He's like, I've been there the whole way. I was there at every Invest Fest. You never know who's watching.
You have no clue who's watching, bro.
Now imagine the video that you saw with walking, and I'm telling him like trying to get the numbers because I love numbers. And he was like, yo, I gotta take your options class. I'm like, bro, that we can talk about that another time. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
Tell me this. This is what we're seeing here. This is life changing.
But then also the power, real quick, and just the power of network too. You never know. So the first thing we did, we landed in Ghana. We went to see a brother that had a plot of land. He's thinking about building a hotel, and he's building a hotel in Ghana. He met our our guy, Alvin, who's from Ghana, where do you think they met at?
That's fish.
That's us.
Invest Fest. They met at Invest Fest.
A lot of connections,
And
man.
this is people that, to put it in perspective, Ghana, we flew from Ghana to DC. It was an 11-hour flight from Ghana to DC. So pretty much on the other part of the world. They live in the same. What's the odds of that happening? They live in the same country in Africa
What's the odds?
and didn't connect until they came to Invest Fest
In Atlanta.
in America. You never know. You never know.
You never know who you can meet. You never know.
Or who's watching you?
For sure.
Yeah. They're watching your character. It almost felt like people have, in the way it was explained, is they, not a vetting process, but let me see what this is like.
They want to see the consistency.
Yeah, exactly. It's a consistency that, okay, these guys are worthy to, hey, let's bring them in on some opportunities here. Yeah, so be mindful of that when you step into rooms, and definitely be mindful of how you conduct yourself, how you carry yourself.
You never know
who's
watching.
going to walk into or who's watching you.
I always feel like
be helpful. Give the most. The blueprint is simple. It's hard to do. Give the most. Be honorable. Be honest about how you operate. Integrity. That matters more. And then notice everybody who's really good in an asset class is learning every other asset class at the same time. Like this agentic thing. If Google gets this off in time, or one of the hyperscalers gets it off, Meta's having some issues like you talked about with China and Menace, that's going to change the work landscape forever.
Yeah,
we're just in the
that shit gonna change it forever for sure.
First round of agentic.
Yeah, when the hypers,
Google,
one of the
even
if Amazon get it,
too, she lives in Rwanda, and she was at Invest Fest, and she was talking about your performance.
Thank you.
And she was saying that was like just amazing to actually see in person, to actually just see people, like it was a musical concert, but for somebody that was talking about investing, and she was highly impressed with the performance that you gave. And like I said, she's coming from a whole different continent, East Africa, and that was a highlight moment for her, right? So it's like, do your best because you never know who's watching.
You never know who's watching.
And
I'll say, no, go ahead.
Present yourself in the best manner possible.
Like a pro.
All the things that your parents told you. Like sometimes we think of these things as like cliche or like they corny of like, oh, that's it. But no, you really never know. You never know. You really never know. Like, there's some people that'll come just to see how you talk to somebody else, how you shake somebody's hand, how you like this. There's people that just be looking, and they might have $100 million, $10 million deal for you, and you the way that you looked at the janitor was just dismissive, and they don't like your character. They're like, nah, I'm good.
Majority of the opportunities that I got this year came off of the back of their performance at InvestFest. Like that's what I keep saying. Like I'm one of the few people, no matter where I go, when I do that, if I made you money, that reaction, you can't deny. So show up, be your best.
Yeah.
Give the information that is changing your life to others, but execute and prepare like crazy. Prepare. Like last year, it was 9 months of prep. I started prepping 2 weeks after InvestFest last year for this year. Stay locked in. Stay locked. Even when we was having a conversation about the other project I'm working on, once they got to see that, I was like, ooh, didn't know.
Stay low. Keep firing.
For sure.
You know how we do.
Buy or pass?
Oh, it's been a minute since we've done something like this, man. All right, we can go lightning round if you want, man. There's some good ones here. And you know what? I like that we're starting with this one, Eli Lilly, because it has pulled back. The GLP story is still, at the forefront. Peptides have stepped into the space and they're causing some havoc. Are we buying? Are we selling? What are we doing with Eli Lilly right now?
Absolutely love. I'm hearing some talks too that in another country they may be looking to acquire a peptides company. Also, and similar to Nvidia, not only are they the maker of the things that the industry loves, their platform. Um, so I absolutely love Lilly, and even though some people may be once again an expectation thing.
You folk keep talking about affirm,
Last year they were
FICO.
at 634. They're currently at 967. They hit a high of 1133. Lilly's not a company to get out of or short. Absolutely love. Yes.
We stand with Lilly. Now this is a company in the semiconductor space. Out of all the semis, I feel like it's the one that never gets spoken about. Really hasn't performed at the level as some of the others that we mentioned. Qualcomm. What's your thoughts around Qualcomm?
It's underperformed, but it's still a solid company. And I'll say this too: if you're looking for, let's say you have a bunch of capital, three, four, $500,000, $1 million, and you want a safe return, I would probably lean here. I would definitely have to wait for it to get to like 131 or 136 to be able to buy it. But even though it's underperformed, it's still a great company for sure.
So we got a great company here, Qualcomm. One that I love coming up next, Caterpillar, ticker is CAT. We talked about the turbine expansion and how they've adapted to the AI story, saying, "Hey, this is our business, and we're known for bulldozers, pulls, and tractors and machinery equipment. But here, there's an opportunity in a space that is going to be leading the next growth of the obviously of the United States economy. What's your thoughts about Caterpillar currently as at where it sits?
One of the greatest companies ever in this era. Love, 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 love. You can argue in this list probably is best of breed. Because even if the AI story goes away, there's still incredible value there just on the enterprise side. Love, love, love.
So we're good on that. Stellantis.
Let me see. I want to be measured in my.
Takes deep breath.
At this current time, in my investment journey and philosophy, I would refrain from deploying capital into said corporation. Back to you, Troy Sean.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, now this one might surprise people. Company's been up 16%. Well, 53% year to date. Was up $16 today. Moderna. This is something that during the pandemic was front and center. Obviously, it pulled down from those highs, but over the past year, up 53%. What's your thoughts on Moderna currently as it stands?
Moderna was one of my babies during COVID, and like the babies that I had during COVID, you can't come back. So no, it was great at the time. I love the time that we spent together,
For sure.
but it's time to move on. In order for me to replace Lilly, Moderna would have to be a better business, and if we're gonna be very honest, it's not. They had a great run. There's a lot of scandal behind the company as well, so I know investors have been getting into it because it was at a cheap enough price. But do I think they'll get back to those all-time highs that they were at before? I don't ever think there'll be a $400, $490 stock ever again. So
Yeah,
no.
we had it closed at $430 on September 24th, 2021, and we haven't come anywhere near that. In fact,
Yeah.
it hasn't been over 100 since early 2024.
Mm-hmm.
That chart is pretty alarming. All right,
And in the
now,
healthcare space, they're not even talked about respectively, to be honest.
yeah. All right, you know Iceman's coming on May 15th, right?
Shout out to the boy, shout out to Benadine, shout out to Gucci.
Yeah,
Gang, I see you. Mm-hmm.
the world's about to freeze over. So, what's your thoughts around Universal Music Group?
Don't love it. I'm gonna be very honest. If you want to play around and maybe have a couple $1,000 in it, maybe, but I don't like to play with money. I know Bill Ackman wants to make a bid, etc. I get there's great IP there. The music business overall is in decay, and I would argue, opposed to investing in them, Spotify is coming to an attractive point, maybe if it falls to 335, I would rather buy Spotify than I would EFG.
Oh,
Shout out to the boy.
Spotify or what?
All right, that's fair.
Cause
That's
bro,
fair.
Yeah.
I thought
I guess
Spotify
in
was
this
like
moment,
high hundreds, like
last week was
700.
a big mega cap earnings week, but we got some big important companies.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, you just talked about
Oh, that shit
Spotify.
dropped a
Shopify
lot,
of
didn't
course,
it?
before the market
I don't
opens
know what I was
tomorrow.
tripping about. But how
AMD
many
at
see?
close, Lumentum, SanDisk, which I said I am staying away from. Will
New
be
fitness
reporting.
hub.
I know they spoke about it when we were at NVIDIA, which is interesting. But they report after close tomorrow. Resale, which we spoke about earlier tonight, will be reporting. And then Wednesday we got Disney,
Fitness hub.
we
What
got
the fuck?
Coherent, which is in that AI story, and maybe I'll unpack some stuff there. You spoke about ARM; they're reporting on Wednesday as well. Uber is reporting. AppLovin, which is one of these companies, man. It's tough to get a gauge on, but their ad business is pretty
Solid.
pretty solid. And then we got some of that data center, that the core weaves, the irons, they're going to be reporting
Yeah, that bill was in
on the compute
that was
data
that
center
shit though, but
companies.
that shit was at
Core weaves
70.
on Thursday after close. Coinbase will be reporting, and Datadog and Wendy's. Shout out to Ice Spice. Will be reporting on Friday. Wendy's would never. Yeah, so if you don't have any of those on your list, and here's how I say those companies because we spoke about those companies, but does that mean you have to listen to all of their earnings reports? No. You can literally ask your chat, hey,
Yeah, chat,
these are
Claude.
the things I'm looking for in the earnings report. Can you report back to me on said metric, whether it's
Yeah.
future guidance, whether it's a revenue beat, whether it's earnings per share, all these things, partnerships, mergers, all the things that you can think of, I would have my prompts ready and fire away at the companies that I'm interested in that are definitely on my watch
Yeah.
list to see is it an opportune time? What's the future target price? Have analysts raise target price? Have they
That's
lowered
way
target price?
more important.
Yeah. Is it outperform? Is it underperform? Just all the things you can use to your advantage, you should use.
I'll say this: quarterly earnings don't fucking matter. Don't matter. Like for a great company, a lot of times people try and play the earnings. The price projections over 5 or 10 years. That's what you need to know. A great company is not focused on quarter to quarter games that are being played. Do what you want, but I'm telling you, you shouldn't even have to worry. If you are in a company and you're worried about this upcoming earnings, you're not in a good company. You're not. But yeah, go to Claude, go to ChatGPT, Quarter app. And also you can set up the task to tell you for the companies that are in your portfolio to give you a breakdown of the earnings every quarter when they come out anyway, so you can know what the data is. But that's the interesting part. The companies that have been having 3 quarters, they've been falling as a result.
Yeah, it's that build. Perspective is key, right? So most people will say, "Oh my gosh, they after earnings, it trended down." Well, what did it do the 60 days prior to that moment?
Mm-hmm.
Right, that will tell you the story. Was that trend line going up, or was it just kind of consolidating? Because that's what we've seen, right? When you see a SanDisk run up the way it did, when you see a Micron or even a Lumentum, the run that's been on. At some point, it has to cool off, right? We actually need retracement so we can get better entry points, so we can have long-term investments.
Yeah.
Before we leave, let's talk about Spirit Airlines.
Rest in peace. I'm all for spiritual healing, but I don't fly spirit.
The interesting part, though, while I agree they have some challenges as a low price leader, when I keep looking at the number of jobs that have been erased, so I think in this case is 17,000. I do want to pose the question: do you think this is being done to further get rid of a bunch of jobs? Because they blocked a deal that would have allowed them to stay afloat. And what does it say about the overall economy? And as a result, will travel and flight get more expensive?
Travel definitely gonna get more expensive. Just saw a screenshot where gas was $6 a gallon, something like that.
Yeah. So
Chicago.
I played that earlier.
Argument that it shut down due to high gas prices. They can't
Especially,
sustain. So
this situation with Iran is still not fully right. Who knows which direction it's going to go in? UAE just left OPEC. Now they're saying Dubai is under attack from. There's a lot of volatility that's still going on. So you know, uh, the good thing with Spirit is that they did help keep prices down because they were so low. So you kind of had to stay in at least some level of range.
Yeah.
Now they're going Frontier. I don't know what Frontier's doing these days. So there used to be a variety of these different low budget airlines: Frontier, Spirit, a few of them. But JetBlue started as a discount airline, and then
Yeah.
they grew in, and then they grew into a major airline. So I think it speaks a lot about the times that we're in for sure. But even flights in Africa is crazy. Coming back, a coach flight from Kenya to Ghana is $2,000 to fly coach. Flying first class, you're looking at 5 digits.
Easily.
So
Easily. And way less availability too.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. That's what, as more people are looking at the continent as an opportunity, you're starting to see those prices become a situation where, hey, we may not be able to go back, right? Or how can we go back?
but it's all over though.
Yeah.
New York to LA, New York to San Francisco. We just came from San Francisco.
That's
I think
crazy.
first class flight. A first class flight from New York to San Francisco is what, like $6,000, $7,000,
7,500.
Yeah.
75, seven, almost $8,000. Let's say $8,000 to fly from New York to San Francisco first class. I mean, it's
real.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the guys about when they used to travel back and forth, because a lot of guys, they said, like, they got sent home to Africa during the summer, and that was something that the whole family could go on, right? And if you're talking about a common $2,000 a ticket, that's not a whole family that's going anywhere. That lessens that return time back and forth. So then you get disconnected from some of the things that are happening if you don't continue to go back. That's what we're facing, man. We gotta, and I just saw Ghana announce that they're going to be bringing Ghana Airways back. They're working that out. I think they got stopped it in 2004, but they're bringing it back in the next year or so. So that's encouraging. Having their own airways helps some of that. Yeah.
Just like they made concerts and sporting events a luxury ticket, I definitely see where they're causing a divide in classism at a greater level, where travel is going to be a thing that is for the haves only in the next 5 or 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
International travel is insane.
That's why the consolidation is something we got to watch. So when United said, hey, let's put in a bid for American Airlines, it's like, wait, huh?
Yep.
Those still
If they compress, prices are going to go up. Yep.
Yeah. Watch out for mergers like that. Yeah, if they wanted to save Spirit, they could have. The fact that they didn't tell you.
They could have. They didn't want to.
They didn't want it.
They didn't want to. Sad, man. Thoughts and prayers to everybody who lost their job there. People were stranded. Like, just even the management of how it was done. It's a barbaric time, economically. Once again, Dutch GDP, one of the highest rates it's been. Our GDP, just the servicing of debt is the highest that it's been in 80 years. It's crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah.
But shout out to Adam back.
Hey. Who's that? Alright. Before we go, we have to do this because we all came from a woman, named from a woman, and I came from a woman. Happy Mother's Day in advance to all the mothers on Mother's Day this Sunday. We love all of you. Thank you for being who you are to our lives. Obviously, my mom, Charlie's mom, Ian's mom. Thank you so much. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there in advance. Happy birthday to my sister-in-law. Her birthday is actually Thursday. Kenya, her birthday is Thursday as well. Happy birthday to them. All Taurus, we understand it's your season. We understand it, and we're going to wish you a happy birthday in advance. Happy birthday, happy Mother's Day. Love is love.
Somebody said, can you guys link with Andrew Tate? I know it's a brand risk, but the guy is super wealthy, influential, and blackish.
Blackish.
You know what the funny part is? Shout out to my guy Bernard, who tried to connect us. Remember I sent you that text last summer about That's Fest? he cool with Andrew. Um, not at this time. Not at this time. Mitigation of risk.
Who? Who's that?
Mitigation of risk. And also, it's a great brand lesson too. You have to when you I'm gonna do the shot. When you are building your business, you need to see what are the hit list. All jokes aside, of topics that the government deems to be a terroristic threat.
For
There's a
sure.
real list. Like if you look at Netflix and see
For
that
sure.
red pill anti-red pill documentary, there are topics that if you talk about too much, you get flagged as the enemy of the state. And there's some topics you may not think are detrimental to a society, but the government may deem them that way. So mitigation of risk is really important, even when selecting whom to collaborate with.
Indeed. Indeed.
That is a fact. Blackout, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time
Oh,
on Wednesday.
spicy!
We got a lot to talk about. It's a lot going on. Thursday at 12 o'clock, we got the legend of Jermaine Dupree, Earn Your Leisure, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Man, there's so much stuff going on. DYL University, flash deal, 3-year access, 20 slots, 20 slots only. First come, first serve. Choice options class is next Thursday. And we got an HVAC class. I'm really excited about this HVAC thing. I think I'm actually gonna try to watch the class myself. Actually.
There you go.
So, when's the next Red Panda call?
The fourth Sunday, so May 24th, 4 p.m. Central. And I have to give a special shout out, thank you to all the consultants who gave me and Shadi great ideas to move the brand forward. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you so much, man. Like I said, haters is your marketing team. But on a serious note, I wanna thank that brother, cause man, this was a great marketing campaign.
Stay low key viral, y'all. Stay low key viral, y'all. Hey, yo, this goes out to you, and you, and you. This goes out to you.
And I owe it all to you.
This goes out to you, and you.
I had the time of my life, and I owe it all to you.
Wow. Read every day. Read 50 pages a day. Hey, before you go to Central Park, get you a little newspaper like I'm doing right now.
Yo, y'all be good. Call somebody, text somebody, check in on somebody, check in on your loved ones. You never know what one phone call could do. Love is love. We appreciate you all. And again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Kids.
Order gifts tonight before y'all forget.
Yeah, do it now.
Don't go to the little grocery store when all the men be piled up around the cards and flowers last minute. Buy
if you from where we from, man, let's try to go somewhere other than City Island, y'all.
Well, every day is Mother's Day.
Can
every
we?
day is
Can we please?
every day is Mother's Day.
Yeah, we know that.
Every day is Mother's Day.
We know that. Please, let's add some variety to what we doing for our mothers, man. Y'all be good. Love is love. We out. Peace.
Appreciate you.
Quit what? What the fuck? the fuck is going on with this now? When the camera went out? Stupid as shit, man. Oh, to say. Okay, let's get back to it. try to fuck Gina, ain't you? I say, man, I know I can trust that nigga, man. Yep. I said they said it shut down for the gas prices earlier. The fuck? 17,000? So what does it mean? Like it just cuts off and none of the up to this point was like applies to anything? infinity. I gotta get some more gear. Gotta get some more like, or just like an LED light. Or I'm grabbing another iPhone so I can stream when I'm at the gym and shit like that. Yeah, guys. Excuse me. When I ain't got this Canon cam, and I gotta find a way to, you know, compel more viewers so that she can get more interactive. So build up a following, of champions. Let's do it. Or you guys like, I guess you just kind of repurpose these or like go back and and clip these. Once I gain traction, who knows? You know? To infinity.